guys, and welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Chrys Parker, and now joining me in the studio, she's an actress, she's a writer, director, and now producer of a hit stage play here in St. Louis. Yvette, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you're local, but you're all over the place. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Okay, sure. I started right here in St. Louis, of course, at Academy of Math and Science performing. And then I moved to Atlanta, where I went to Clark Atlanta University. And there, I performed probably most of the time.
Yes.
and also went to school. But I did like my first music video with the group called Outkast.
Okay.
And that happened like right along the time I was doing my play at Clark. So it was a big deal, you know, for me there in Atlanta. And then I moved on to Los Angeles, and there professionally, I've been producing plays now for at least the last 10 or so years.
Great. Now you're an actress as well, you write, and which one do you like more? What do you like more to do?
Of course, the acting.
What started you with acting? How did you know that this was something I love to do?
You know, I always performed for my parents as a young kid to get out of trouble. And from there, it kind of went into high school performing and, you know, on to college and then into the real world. But the professional side of it, of course, came when I was in college.
Right.
And I realized then that this is definitely, you know, what I'll be doing for the rest of my life.
Wow. And talk about some of the things that you did in LA. You just moved back to St. Louis.
And in LA, the play A Woman's Worth, A Woman's Worth was the first show that I introduced to LA as a play. But that also came from my first movie trailer I produced called Before Now. And that really kicked off those characters for that play being introduced out in Los Angeles. And I worked behind the scenes at Fox Studios. And that's kind of where I learned the real intricate details of, you know, running a production company. So,
So for all the actresses, you know, the ones that want to be, what kind of tips would you give them as far as, you know, how hard it is or what you had to do in order to reach where you are right now?
Definitely be persistent, and you cannot wait on someone else to give you your opportunity. You kind of have to, you know, find a way or make one, which is the motto of Clark Atlanta, where I went, and I took that to heart, you know, and to the professional world. So I would say to anyone, whatever your dream is, you know, God gave it to you, do it, you know.
Now, what brought you back to St. Louis?
St. Louis is home, but I have a little one. Well, she's a big one now. My daughter is also a singer. She comes from a entertainment family.
Great.
So she's the reason I moved back home, and I wanted my company to launch something from my hometown and keep her grounded. Hollywood was a bit much for a young one.
How old is she?
She's 15 now.
Oh, wow. And so is she going out on auditions and things like that? Or?
Well, she won her first 2 talent shows at Brittany Woods when I first put her in there at 7th and 8th grade. And now she's singing, and I'm about to introduce her as well, you know, as an artist.
Now, you've just brought a play to St. Louis. What's it called, and when is it showing?
The Dating Game is the name of the play, and it's a contemporary comedy. And it debuted in LA, and for the first time, this is the Midwest debut of the new show I wrote for St. Louis to be the launching pad for the tour.
Now, give us a little snippet, and when we come back, you'll tell us a little bit more about what's the play about.
Well, this comedy is basically centered around a self-proclaimed life coach who is absolutely hilarious, and she counsels couples, married people, and single people who have a lot of issues in dysfunctional relationships.
Oh, wow. That sounds really interesting. We're going to talk a little bit more about this when we get back. You guys don't want to miss this. The Dating Game is coming out June 2nd and 3rd here in St. Louis at the Regional Arts Commission. You guys don't want to miss it. She's going to tell us a little bit about, give us a little bit more teasers on what we can expect when we see the play. You guys, we'll be right back after this. Remember to keep up with STL TV and all of the great events going on around St. Louis. You got to friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always catch us streaming live at STLTV.net. We'll be right back after this.